This truck's got some power though, man. That actually hooked really hard.
68 mil. Yeah, it's pretty fun to drive.
I know you guys know where I'm at today, so we're gonna go ahead and get right into the video. Very informative stuff. You guys may have seen Beard in some of my recent videos.
Howdy.
This guy right here. So he definitely knows his stuff when it comes to the LB7 Duramaxes as well as others, but this guy's the man. But what he's doing today, guys, and we're going to have Mark here on the channel as well. Everybody knows who Mark is here at Kodiak Truck. We're going to be installing what is called a Trac right, okay? The 373s, and it's an AAM unit. So we're going to be installing basically a built rear end that's pretty much coming out of a Dodge. But we're going to keep the same integrity of the Duramax rear end. That's pretty much it. Now, I did do a video because I'm running the same exact rear end on my truck. Now, in Beard's application, right, we call him Beard, his name's Tyler, but what Beard is doing with his truck, he actually pulls sleds with it, and he's also racing with that truck, believe it or not. And truck may not look too pretty, but I'll tell you what, it can definitely throw down some power. I figure this would be a really good take on your guys' end if you're interested in a GovLock situation or a built rear end, if you will, on your truck. Well, I highly encourage you guys to watch this video from start to finish. It's going to be extremely informative, and maybe we might even be able to learn something. And if you're ever interested in possibly buying the same rear end, I'll leave the link in the description, and also you can use my coupon code TruckMaster. It's definitely going to save you guys some coin, and definitely a really cool option for your truck. So make sure you stay tuned.
Oh, okay.
Now here's another bearded wonder right here.
What's up, guys?
Everybody knows who Rustbelt Mechanic is, and he is here as well with myself here in Wisconsin, and we are actually documenting this together. Go over to his YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell on his as well, so you guys can get a different take on this install.
Yep, it's going to be a good one. We got a whole lot of information going through on this one today. I like seeing the differences in these rear ends between the GovLocks and actually doing these AAMs, because I'm a Dodge guy. We're all about the AAM rear ends all the time, so it's really cool stuff.
I can't remember
this magical crap.
And it fits on the rotor. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
So the goal here is
Just to catch a gear oil when we drop it.
When you pull that,
Yeah, because you're going to
axles
lose your oil in there.
out on the floating axles, because it makes a mess coming out.
there needs to be a patent on this design.
I don't think that this is meant for it.
No.
So this is like a,
It's better to be lucky than good.
this actually looks like something from Back to the Future. It's pretty cool.
Wait till we throw a banana peel in the fuel tank.
So I must ask, when was the last time you replaced your rear differential fluid?
And this, probably about 2,500 miles ago we went through it.
That's not bad. Never mind.
Oh.
I was hoping to maybe get some carnage at that one.
Oh, no. That's a used
That does look pretty gross.
No, that's your GovLock already coming unhinged.
Yeah, that looks pretty sick. It's all little metal shavings. Yeah, I think you're about due for a service.
We pulled our main caps off. We're going to drop the carrier out. Beard's working on getting the axle shafts out. And we're going to get this unit out, get the ring gear off, get the G80 out of here, put the Trac right in, get our backlash set back up. We're going to do a pair of 30 spline alloy shabs and the one-piece 1480 shaft conversion with the new yoke. So
Ready?
yep.
Yeah, those aren't light, Mark, whatsoever.
No, that's like probably close to 100 pounds, ring gear and carrier.
That's good.
Mark put plenty of Loctite on them. I see that. It wasn't going to fall off.
A little bit of Loctite on those.
Still isn't going to fall off. Oh yeah, normally you got to tap them down. We're going to transfer this ring gear over onto the new carrier, and then we'll clean everything up, reassemble the ring gear on there, re-Loctite bolts on down on there, and then flush the housing, get that thoroughly flushed out, and then we'll reinstall the carrier and set backlash, check pattern, and put our alloy shafts in, and then finish up our one-piece shaft.
Big question of Beard here is, once we install everything, are you interested in a full send right outside?
These guys are able to just like, yep.
Maybe not outside here, but we can find a public private road somewhere.
Somewhere in Mexico?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a drive, but I think it'll definitely be worth it.
I think we should go to Canada. It's a lot closer.
And they have snow there.
These guys
They do have
Yeah,
snow.
so
yeah.
snow's real pretty, you know.
Okay.
It'll make me feel like I'm at home.
That's
you
a
know.
good point.
But I won't be at home. I'll be in Canada.
In Canada,
Right,
correct,
yeah.
yep. Right.
But do we have to look at this hideous chode the whole time? I said, yep, sure do. Beats looking at your mom the whole video.
Alright, so as you guys can see here, the comparison on both carriers. That was removed out of the Duramax. It's crap. That right there is bulletproof.
We've got our GovLock out, and you know, everybody knows the reputation of these units. It's not great. I've seen more fail than that have lived, and it's funny because some forums I go on and everybody says, oh, those things will take 1,200 horsepower. Maybe once. And we're going to upgrade. We're going to do the AAM style Trac right. It's much like the Detroit True Trac. Little less money. Quite honestly, in all the years I've installed these, I've never ever had one of these fail. We've got one of these in Ryan's pull truck that we actually pulled out of a used Dodge that had 265,000 miles on, and he has tortured the thing and can't break it. So I really do like these units. The only limitation is the biggest we can go is 30 spline. So we are going to do the 30 spline Yukon Chavs in here. Yeah, they rate these roughly at about 40% stronger than stock. So at which point in time, the best thing to do is just lightly drag your foot on the brake and it'll lock up and away you go. Our ramp plate is actually on the other side. I'm going to spin this carrier so everybody can see this.
Yeah.
Obviously, our little gear here normally breaks these teeth off, takes all the teeth off the ramp plate. The ramp plate, I call it a ramp plate because that's exactly what it is. If you look at this, it goes back and forth. And this unit, when this gear drives that ramp plate, it turns it and it jams this side gear forward. And what will happen is all these little teeth will come off then, and I've seen two, and it's quite common, where that ramp plate will break into numerous pieces. I've already had these break and jam that gear forward, and the unit was acting like a spool. It was locked all the time. I had a customer that swore his posi worked, and he proved it with a nice burnout in the parking lot before it came in, and yes, it did work, and it worked because literally everything was welded together at 280,000 miles. So the best thing you can do is, before this unit blows up, get it out, take it out, and replace it, because once this stuff blows up, it's going to wash through your ring and pinion, it's going to wash through all your bearings, and you'll end up rebuilding the entire complete differential, which is obviously a costly expense. It's an excellent working unit, no clutches to wear out. They say over time that the gears internally can wear into the housing because of the load that's put on them. The one we put in Ryan's truck at 265, I took apart and it showed no wear whatsoever. And we put that unit back together and he's still running it today. I've literally had 0 failures with these units.
Okay guys, but now for the fun stuff. We're going to be doing some pretty awesome welding work, so let's hear what Mark has to say about this modification.
Yeah, we're going to end up taking a torch and lightly heating up our casting and tubes. And we're going to end up welding the tubes to the cast center section. Beard's going to get in there and burn that stuff up and weld it all up, because obviously a lot of guys know that that can be a problem. You can rotate and spin that right out. The plug welds don't hold, and you'll spin the center casting straight up. So we're going to make sure that doesn't happen when he goes drag racing with that truck and playing around with it.
Awesome day. This is going to be really cool. Stay tuned.
And roll it up, and the whole casting will roll up, and the plug welds will break. So we're going to come in here. Beard's already cleaned these up pretty good. We're going to preheat this. He's going to go around and weld both sides up on this.
So what Mark was saying in a nutshell here is we're actually going to go ahead and lay a bead down around this axle tube on both sides. So it's going to give the added protection and strength when throwing a lot of power at this rear end.
Welding it with normal, like an E70 wire, is just, it'll work. It's not going to go anywhere. So between the factory plug welds and then welding the tubes, it just helps it hold together a little bit better.
Nice.
So, and being as thick as it is, preheating, you're more guaranteeing that you're going to get better penetration in your weld, so that it wasn't for nothing.
You're going to put a couple passes on there, Tyler?
Yeah, I'll probably triple pass it.
Yep. Put the root pass and a couple over the top. So we're going to pre-lube our bearings on our carrier. We got those all pressed on. We got our ring gear on. We got our bolts Loctited. We're going to take this unit and drop it in. Beard's going to assist me with main caps, sides respectively. And we're going to get this in there, dial in our backlash, adjust that, pattern this, and see what we got. What I'll do sometimes is I'll push the carrier towards the pinion, the load side, grab the load side of the carrier and push it, and I'll bring the adjuster wheel up till a point that I can feel I start to get a little bit of backlash, and then I'll stop. And obviously it's not right yet, but it gives us a little starting point to get to. So right there, if you can hear that, we got a little bit of backlash. So now I'll just bring the other side up to that, get close, and then I'll fine tune it in a little bit from there. We'll get the caps on, and we should be good to go. So I'm going to lightly just bring these down for right now, and I'm going to still dial in my backlash here a little bit more. Now I got way more backlash than what I like, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to take some out this side. We're going to shift the carrier over here and adjust this a little bit.
You can't tell 5/1000ths by feel when you're a professional rear end builder. Yeah, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
I will personally attest to you, the first rear end he ever built for me, I questioned him. Let's get out the dial caliper. He got out the dial caliper. He was dead nuts where he said his was.
Now we can see, and I'll use my pocket screwdriver to see, our pattern's starting here and we're walking out to about here. In a stock daily driver application, this will work, but you would want it more down the center. I purposely set my differentials up a little bit more inboard in a performance application, because under load, that pinion wants to shove this ring gear that direction. When that happens, this pattern's going to walk out. So if you do a textbook pattern down the middle, you take it out and pound on it, you're going to run off the end of the gear, you will blow the ring and pinion. People may argue that fact. I've never had an AAM blow up on me, ever. So, and these housings, believe it or not, you look at the size of this, the mass amount of metal, they will flex. Dana 80 housings generally don't flex. 80 housing is way more tougher than an AAM, but you know, they're not, when they were manufactured, they weren't meant to be put through what most of the guys put these things through. We're going to go ahead though and check our coast side. Our backlash is beautiful. I'm happy with the drive side. And Beard's truck here, believe it or not, this gear set has 310,000 miles on. And so this thing's been put through its paces already. And for 310,000, this gear set's set up really, really nice. For what we have here and the miles that are on this gear, I have no doubts this thing's going to run a long time yet, even with Beard's foot.
I got a big foot.
Is that a challenge? Is that a challenge to try to break it?
The previous builder I had before Mark, I went through 3 ring and pinions in my pull truck. Since Mark has been doing my differential work, I have not shattered a ring and pinion. And it's about 1200 horsepower 3.0 truck with a 1-ton rear end still.
Wow.
And I run dual 35, so.
These are just the retainer clips to keep the adjuster wheels from backing off under load. So we just snug these down. There's no real torque spec, just make sure they're good and tight. I forget, Kyle, how many Egr Duggas are there?
3 1/4.
3 1/4. Oh, I might have went 3 1/2 on that one. Oh well, we'll be all right.
The
Egr
change
Dugga.
from Egr Duggas to hand pressure is kind of a hard acquisition there.
Alright guys, so at this point right here, everything's installed. Now we're going to go ahead and put the fluid in the rear differential.
And we got our 85 140 Mystic in here. I've used this fluid for years. We're full up here. We're going to get her down on the ground and take our jack, and we're going to catch underneath the shock, and we're going to jack it up to one side, get it up as high as we can. Make sure we run axle lube all the way down out to the bearings, because we had the axles out of this obviously. And then what we're going to do is lower it back down. We're going to leave it sit there for a bit because it's a little cool in the shop today. I want to make sure that the fluid level dropped in here. That way we know we've got fluid out there.
Race on the pallet jack. I know there's both over there.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Test drive underway. I don't know if I can put my seatbelt on, man. I'm a little girl.
They'll grab me if we get squirrely, or if we don't. Either way.
Huh? I wonder who did that.
Some asshole.
It's oddly, it's very interesting how it's just as wide, almost exactly as wide as the tire tracks on your truck.
It kind of looks like the same tread pattern too. They must be pretty common tires.
Yeah, she's got some pickup, like seriously.
This is the small tune.
Oh.
It's still a bass tune.
Oh.
The other one, the pulse width, is too close together, so it drains the rail. We haven't reflashed it yet.
So any sort of weird differencing in feel of after the install?
True Trac?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about getting stuck somewhere.
Yeah, that is true. Trac.
Honestly, the drivability of the truck just in general is phenomenal.
You can definitely tell a difference, huh?
Well, but a 68 mil, like I was worried it was going to be extremely laggy. Like it drives like stock. Like this is just, you know, 40% throttle maybe. Drives fine, doesn't fry the tires, nothing. It's not until you want it to go that it actually lights and goes.
Right. So when you want the power, you can lay it down, but when you just want to drive it like a normal truck, you have that ability.
Yeah. Not too much towing with it yet. A little light trailer stuff, but want to work my way up to see how bad it gets with heavier loads. But again, the drivability of it is phenomenal.
And that's really important too, especially when you drive your truck daily. But then again, once you want to pull a sled or take it on the track, you can. So that's really cool. Really cool option. Guys, we're going to go ahead and do a four-wheel drive boost launch. Hold on.
Everybody's putting seatbelts on. See how it lags there? That's where it's draining the rail.
Yeah, right. That was really hard to hold the camera, actually.
You just drive that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it pulls a little bit. The front locker works really well, but it still does have a little jerk to it, but I think that's torque pulling it, not the lock. The locker's keeping it from going cattywampus.
Well, the traction bars, I'm sure, are really helping.
Oh yeah, that too in the rear end.
Do you have HD tie rods by chance?
I have D-Max Soar tie rods and Pro Comp or Cognito sway bar.
Well, I figured you had that covered by then.
Yep.
Awesome.
I've been building Duramaxes too long to not build them up.
All right, everybody, so that's exactly how you do it right there. If you guys have any questions, I'll go ahead and leave Mark's information in the description below if you guys want to pick up a remanufactured unit like that, or even have him do some work to your truck or your driveline. So anyways, guys, that's all the time that we have for today. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that one-piece drive shaft, that L5 PD drive shaft swap on an LB7. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I appreciate your time as always. Take care.